Let's look at one of the main employers. Well, before I bring any information here, you can be rest assured that it has been carefully reviewed. So I don't work by hearsay. I don't work by hearsay. I work by, verified information. So this is one of the main employers, recruiters of care labor in Australia. And you can see this is their website. So I said always verify from the source, international job seekers. Okay, so I wasn't the one that wrote this. I was not the one that, created this. I didn't make this up myself. So are you thinking of relocating to Australia? McLean Care is dedicated to supporting international job seekers. We welcome to our company and to our communities people who share our passion for supporting elderly people. So one thing I can tell you about McLean Care is that they will not even interview anybody that is not visa ready. So they wouldn't. If you don't have your skills assessment or your positive skills assessment, they are not going to, even interview you at all. So they will pay, their pay is quite good, for aged care, for nursing, for aged care roles, and they also assist with AHPRA registration for nurses. They assist you to get your driver's license, and they will give you visas so that we can go into the most important part of tonight's session, which is the job readiness and employability. If you know you are here and you're ready to be hired, please just make sure you have your CV ready. For those of you that already sent your CV, if you already sent your CV, one of the things we got about those that sent their CV was that they did not have a skills assessment done. So the employers want people that are job and visa ready. And by visa ready, it means that you already have all the requirement for the visa. One thing employers do not like to do is to start the employment process and have to wait a very long time. So if you are not visa ready, the likelihood of you being selected by an employer for interview is going to be very, very slim. So the reason why we're having this live as a follow-up to the session we had last week is because most of the CVs that we received, if not all of them, were not visa ready and interviews could not proceed. So it is very important that you pay close attention, like you pay so much attention to tonight's meeting, so that this is not just going to be about a hype. Oh, Australia is recruiting. It's a hype. No, it's not a hype. It's real. If I'm able to get 100 people to Australia, I'm sure we would have played our part in this ongoing DAMA or Rural Australia pathway. So please make sure you pay attention. You take your pen, you take your paper, you write down, notes. You use the chat box to engage and ask questions. And at the end of my presentation, we are going to come back. So please make sure that you are taking everything in. I'm going to share my screen, and the next slide you will see will be my screen. And tonight we will be focusing strictly on the process that you need to take to get visa ready. So like I said earlier, employers want people that are not just job ready, but are visa ready, because the process could take a couple of weeks to months if you do not have your skills assessment done. So they would like you to be visa ready. And my aim tonight is to ensure that you have everything required and everything that you need to actually be visa ready. Please, if you can see my screen, just indicate in the chat box yes, or you can let me know if you can see my screen.
We can see your screen now.
All right, thank you very much for confirming. I will start now. So the title of tonight's presentation is Get Ready for Australia Visa Sponsorship. How many of you want to be ready, or how many of you are ready? Please let me see it in the chat box. If you are ready, just type in the chat box, I'm ready, or I'm in the process of getting ready, or about to get ready. Get ready for Australia visa sponsorship. And we are going to be looking at two bodies that can ensure your visa readiness. One is Community Work Australia, CWA. It's very common amongst Grammartorial students and clients. Most of our master class students, most of our students, I would usually recommend the Community Work Australia pathway. So this is a pathway that we are very familiar with. Please, can you just put your hand down, Alan? We're not taking questions here. If you don't mind just putting your hand down so I can focus on my presentation. And after the presentation, we will see if we can take some questions. We're also going to be looking at the ANMAC pathway, which is the Australian Nursing and Midwifery Accreditation Council. I don't know if there is anybody here that has passed the skills assessment, but if you have passed your skills assessment, then employers want to hear from you. So just make sure you get all your paperwork ready before the end of this session. We're going to look at the employability, employers that are potentially hiring overseas workers. I'm going to share that at the end. And it is me, your host today, Laura Kolawole. So let's dive straight into this. We have been talking about Australia for so many weeks and months now. And why are we talking about Australia? Specifically regional and rural opportunities. It's because the opportunities are there and we want as many of our students, our clients, and our audience to be partakers of this opportunity. I see firsthand what is happening to lots of families, lots of, people, especially here in the UK, are going through a very tough and difficult time with many of them, their sponsor licenses being revoked, some of them not having jobs, not being able to work. So many people coming to the end of their skilled worker visa, coming to the end of their student visa or their graduate work visa and not knowing what next to do. Australia presents, the perfect opportunity for you. And for those that are outside the UK and are wondering what kind of opportunities exist in 2026, Australia, rural and regional Australia presents a very good opportunity for you, especially with the opportunity to get your permanent residency within 2 years, other added benefits like being able to move with your dependent up to the age of 21 years, and also having a good work-life balance and good pay as well. So we're going to look at the career pathways and the employer requirements, as I mentioned earlier. One common mistakes I noticed from reviewing the CVs is that some people are using wrong qualifications. So for example, someone is relying on their biomedical degree to get a job in aged care in Australia. Some other person relying on a degree in pharmacology or a degree in physiology or psychology to get an aged care role in Australia. So that's one of the the things that I saw from the CVs that we reviewed and from the questionnaire that you took. There were also missing pieces of evidence, there were missing pieces of experience, work experience, references, so without your references are key. There were missing pieces of other things like your qualifications were also missing. So this presents some of the reasons why people have been rejected and not a well-tailored cover letter. So in some cover letters, I saw people talking about their experience just working in the hospital or in the clinical setting, but not majorly in care for the elderly or in adult care. Please remember that the Australian pathway is not just a healthcare pathway, it's a specific pathway on adult care for the elderly and disability care. So you want to make sure that you are highlighting the right competencies. There are also issues of references. I already spoke about that and poor preparation. Do you mind switching off or muting? Sorry, muting if you're not speaking. Can one of my co-hosts please check for me those that are not muted? Please just mute everyone. Okay, so we're having these weekly sessions just to ensure that everyone is well prepared, so poor preparation just gives rise to missed opportunities, like what happened last week. I asked you guys to share screen and, it just was not working. People didn't have their CVs ready. A lot of people didn't have the right documentation ready. So it's important that we prepare and we have everything correctly. Please mute yourself or I'll take you out of this meeting, please, if you keep on muting. So let's start with CWA. What is CWA? CWA stands for Community Work Australia. Is one of the Australian recognized government bodies that is allowed to do what, to regulate and organize community workers in Australia. So we're going to look at who may apply for Community Work Australia skills assessment, the evidence that is required, and an overview of the assessment. We're also going to look at the ANMAC overview. We're going to look at the nursing-related pathways, the documentation, and key considerations. So please note that this is a follow-up from last week's session. So if you missed last week's session, you may want to go and watch the video playback because there are a lot of things I will not go back to. So I'm just assuming that everyone in this meeting has watched the video or attended the session last week. So what are the required documents you need to make a successful application for Community Work Australia or Australian Nursing and Midwifery Accreditation Council? One, you need your passport, your CV, a well-tailored CV to Australian standards. You need your certificates. So the certificates that they accept are either an AQF Certificate 3. AQF stands for Australian Qualification Framework, or equivalent, so they can accept an equivalent NVQ, National Vocational Qualification, or a nursing diploma. However, they state that the qualification must not be unduly short, must not be an online qualification, and it must have a vocational competency. If you can evidence 12 months of paid work experience, that will also be accepted. They'll also be looking for transcripts, employment references, authenticated employment references to your ID, which your passport can stand for, and supporting evidence as well. So let's look at a roadmap for your skills assessment. So many people will start from getting a recognized qualification, competency or vocational qualification, and they will progress to start putting together their documents, which we can assist you with as Grammartorial. So I want you to use the chat box and let me know which qualifications you have. Use the chat box. Let me know if you have the AQF Certificate 3. Let me know if you have the NVQ Level 3, the one with a vocational placement, not the online NVQ, please. Let me know if you have 12 months of paid care work experience. Another thing I saw is that people are not talking about in their experience, you've not taken care of the elderly or disability support, you know. So please let me know, just comments, just put in the chat box what qualifications you have. If you have the AQF, say AQF. I want to see the chats coming through. If you have the NVQ, let me know. Someone said they've been working in care since 2022. Okay, that's very good. So you have about 4 years of work experience. That's fine. Someone said they'll be getting their nursing degree in a few months. Absolutely fine. So once you get your nursing degree and your transcript, you can apply. 12 months of paid healthcare experience in orthopedic hospital. So yes, like I said, you know, this is very aged care focused. So it's very aged care focused, you know. If you can evidence, you know, your nursing experience or your clinical experience in the orthopedic hospital, it's just all about how you present the evidence. Okay, Trauma says, don't know the equivalent, but I have a diploma in medical and psychiatry social work. Medical and psychiatry. So I wouldn't be able to say without seeing your transcript. So, you know, that's the reason why they're asking for your transcript, because I will share with you the specific units and modules that they are looking for. RQF Level 3, fine. BSc in microbiology, technician, pharmaceutical, nursing diploma. Okay, so it's good to see the range of qualifications that we have in the room. I can see that there are lots of very experienced people, but let's continue. So once your documents are ready, you go for the skills assessments, then the employment, and that's where the employability comes in. So you can see that even before you start to get through to employer, you must have gotten the qualifications, the documentation, the skills assessment, and you are visa ready. You kind of already know which of the pathways you are going for, whether you're going for the aged care pathway or you're going for the Aquila pathway, you already know what you're going for. And this is so useful, for employers, because employers do not want to bring in someone that does not know. There's something they call an adaptability test, especially if you are going for rural Australia. Employers will carry out the adaptability test even without asking you any, question or letting you know that you're taking a test. So one of the adaptability tests, or one of the ways that you can pass the adaptability test, is by being visa ready and understanding the requirements of the specific migration pathway that you are leaning towards. Okay, so qualifications considerations. Qualification relevance depends on employer and the assessing authority requirements. We are going to share with you the requirements from the assessing authority. I'll share it with you, so just hang on a bit if you are here. We're going to share screen and look at the exact requirements. But how can Grammartorial qualifications help you? The Level 3 Diploma in Health and Social Care, NCC endorsed, is a qualification. I believe Chisom had already spoken about it. Is a qualification that helps you to meet the skills requirements. Okay, it's not an academic qualification, but it's a vocational qualification that helps you to meet the skills requirement, the job requirements. So it's a Level 3 diploma. It comes with full tutor support. It allows for flexible learning from the comfort of your home, as long as you have access to the internet, a device, and a hospital or a care setting placement. And it also includes employability support. So you're going to get a 360 degrees support with employability. Someone will ask me, but what about your success stories? Our success stories speaks for themselves. So if you want to know more about our success stories, you can head over to our Google review. I post success stories frequently on our IG page as well. We have success stories from students that have been able to move to Tasmania in Australia. Tasmania is one of the regional Australia areas, is an island, one of the remote islands in Australia, quite a distance, a trek away. And all the way from Tasmania in Australia, we have success stories. In the NHS UK is one of our biggest success stories. Like every week, we have students that are, filling the NHS workforce. We are really contributing to the NHS workforce. We are positioning qualified and experienced workers in the NHS at Band 3 and Band 4 level. We also have students that have recently started moving to the UK Channel Islands and the Republic of Ireland using the Non-RQF certificate. So these are the success stories from the Level 3 Diploma in Health and Social Care specifically. We have success stories as far as other areas are concerned. With the RQF, we have students that have used it for the USA, Canada, and many other countries that we don't even provide employability support for. So one thing you can be rest assured of is that this qualification is a globally recognized qualification. So as part of this offer I'm giving for those that attend the webinars, like I always do, I know that it's time for us to come here and share valuable information with you, which I'm going to be sharing screen. And at the end, I'm going to come back and share the employers with you. But for those that do not have the qualification, I want to say, Laura, you know what? I need to key into this. I need to take action. I'm just at the stats. Like last week, we were saying those that are at level A, B, or C. We're going to give a limited time offer for those that are in the webinar and genuinely want to take advantage of the next cohorts that will be starting the non-RQF on Tuesday this week. So we're going to be giving you a 10% discount today if you register between now and the end of this webinar. We also have flexible payment options for those that may not be able to pay tonight. You can pay in installments. Okay, and if you are going to refer someone or refer more than one or two people, we have an offer for you. Now, before I take questions and answers, I'm going to share my screen and I will show you the direct Community Work Australia website, and we're also going to go to ANMAC website. And then I'm going to come back with what you can see on my screen, some employers here. How many of us want to meet the employers? Okay, so I will stop sharing and we will come back to the employers. Okay, we will come back to the employers. I will stop sharing. I just hope that my laptop does not need to update because I can see a notification to update Microsoft. No, this is not happening now. Okay, if it happens that I need
I
to,
want some question.
Chisom, I will have to hand over to you. I'm seeing that it wants to update my laptop and this should not happen. Okay, so for those of you that want to meet with employers, please just make sure you have your CV ready. If you don't have your skills assessment ready, please do not,
Hello.
you are not ready, okay? So you are not ready for the employers. The employers do not want to meet with anybody that has not gone through skills assessment. So for those that want to meet with the employers, which I will be sharing at the end of this presentation, just make sure that you have your skills assessment ready. Okay, I can see people saying they have their skills. Pat, do you have your skills assessment ready? Okay, so someone is asking, how can I get through the skills assessment? Yes, that's what I want to share. That's why we are having tonight's session, is to share how you can get through to the skills assessment. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen, and the next thing you're going to see on my screen is check your eligibility. So please do let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, so everyone can see my screen. That is fine. And we are going to check our eligibility, and I will show you how to apply I'm going to show you how to apply for Community Work Australia or ANMAC, and which one to use depending on your preference or your goals, so to say. So it all depends on your goals, which of the assessing bodies you are going to use. So your goals will determine which one to use. Okay, so this is the website of Community Work Australia, and we want to check our eligibility for a skills assessment. So am I eligible to apply? Community Work Australia recognizes and assesses skills across a range of community work occupations. Our eligibility checker helps you find the most relevant occupation based on information provided. So step one, you are going to check, do you have a qualification? So you can see that the first step, which is what I detailed or indicated on my presentation, it all starts with the qualification. So let's click yes. Let's assume you've gotten your NVQ qualification. Then the next step you are going to go is, what level is your qualification? Is it certificate 3, 4, diploma, bachelor? So let's click on diploma. Is your qualification accredited or recognized by a professional body? So we click yes, and then we go to next. Do you have relevant work experience, let's say 1 year or just less than 1 year, depending on how many months experience you have? So now, these are the occupations that you can apply for. So under DAMA, so we've been talking about DAMA. I'm sure all of you here know what DAMA is, designated area migration agreement. So under the DAMA pathway, applicants must demonstrate post-qualification work experience of 1 year. So you need 1 year experience to work as a community worker, community carer under the DAMA. Now, for welfare workers, under DAMA, applicants must demonstrate post-qualification work experience. So here, if you are going as a welfare worker, they do not specify how much, how many years or months experience you need. Now, there are other specialized occupations like disability service officer, which are like higher occupations. You need 2 years experience, family support worker, youth worker, residential care officer. So these require more experience. So my recommendation to you, if you are here, is you should go for community worker. So community worker or aged care worker does not require as much experience as others. And the truth is that for community worker, you have more jobs. And one good thing about Community Work Australia is they have so much resources and even how to find a job. So employers will often come to them to check for people that have gotten their skills assessment and just headhunt directly from them. So that is why some people are not getting jobs, because you do not meet the employer eligibility criteria. So this is the website that you are going to do your skills assessment, is Community Work Australia, and I can drop this link in the chat box for you. I'm going to drop this link in the chat box for those that have the qualification or meet the requirements. So that's the link in the chat. So when you go to skills assessments here, all you need to do is just come to occupations where it says how to apply, check your eligibility, document required. We've already gone through the document required, fees and charges. So there is a fee for it. And then the aged care industry labor agreement, or the DAMA. So these are the 2 pathways that most community workers or aged care workers will take. So aged care industry labor agreement, or DAMA. They also have useful resources on how to migrate to Australia as a community service professional. So if you are going through the Community Work Australia pathway, please note that this particular assessment is for people that want to work in the community. So there are 3 pathways available: either the general skilled visa occupations, the aged care industry labor agreement, or the designated area migration agreement. These 2 are very similar. One main difference is that for aged care, the age limit is 45 years to get a PR. There is no age limit, so to say, to get the visa. But after you have gotten to Australia, if you are more than 45, you cannot qualify using this pathway for PR. So most people prefer the DAMA pathway because it allows you PRO, or the age limit is 55 years, making it a bit more flexible, and it can be used for remote areas, and the requirements are not as rigorous or onerous on the employers as much as the AQUILA pathway. So we already looked at the occupations and, the application process, the eligibility process. It's so easy. You just come to apply now once you have the document. So once you have everything that you need and you have the document required. So let's look at the document checklist from the horse's mouth. Let's see what they are calling their document checklist. So here it says document checklist to complete your skills assessment application. 1, your identity document. So as part of your identity document, they require a minimum of 3 documents. 1, a color scan of the biography page of your passports, color scan of at least 2 other official identity documents, including 1 official photo bearing ID, such as your birth certificate or your driver's license, and if applicable, a color scan of evidence of your change of name. So they would look for your English proficiency, but this is only for the general skilled occupations. If you are going for the DAMA pathway or the AQUILA pathway, at this stage, you do not need to provide your English language test. So there's no requirement for DAMA and AQUILA at this stage of getting your skills assessments to include your English proficiency. Then the third qualification they need, or I'll say the second qualification for Dama and Akila, is your qualification. A color scan of your qualification or a letter of completion showing the start date and end date the applicant was deemed to have completed the course, a color scan of the transcript of results. For graduates of Community Work Australia accredited courses, they also need a color scan of letter from the education provider. For graduates of, okay, we can skip this. For overseas applicants, which will relate to most of us in this room, it is recommended that you submit a detailed course outline or syllabus. So for those of you on the non-RQF and you want to apply, please let us know. Make sure that as part of your application, you submit your syllabus or your course specification as part of the application. Industry experience, your resume or your CV, including 2 referees with contact details, one of whom must have been your workplace supervisor. Now, this is where a lot of candidates get it wrong. The details of your contact details, like email of your workplace supervisor, must be an email that can be authenticated. Community Work Australia does not accept emails like Yahoo Mail, Google Mail, and, My Mail. They need emails that can be authenticated or professional email of your workplace supervisor. Position description for all relevant work experience. So they need a job description for all your relevant work experience. And also a statement of service or a letter from your employer which states the details of the position, the title, the type, whether it's part-time or full-time, start and end date. And this letter must be on a company letterheaded, must include the full name, job title, and contact details of the manager or HR officer who has assigned you the letter. You must provide this evidence for all work experience claims that have been made. Industry currency. So evidence of qualification awarded within the last 4 years. Position description for the industry experience and letter from your current employer. So if you are using an agent, your agent must sign an agent authorization form. And if you have any other supporting documents, you can also add. So you can see that it's a very straightforward application. You just need, there are 4 main requirements here, which is number 1, your identity documents, number 2, your qualification, your transcripts, and then number 3, your industry experience, reference letter, your CV, and your job description. So these are the main requirements you need to be able to put through a skills assessment. Okay, so can I just pause here before we go to the Australian Nursing and Midwifery Accreditation Council? So I'm going to pause and take a few questions. So as you can see the requirements, I want to see in the chat box, are you ready? Are you visa ready? Are you visa ready? Let's take 2 questions before we go on. I can see, Chisom, do you want to take the question? Just 2 questions and then we'll move on.
All right. Bridget, do you want to go ahead and ask your question?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so what I wanted to ask for what she just explained to us, after we finish the hands-on practical training, let's say in the hospital alongside with this course, because personally, I'm not from the healthcare sector. I'm a teacher here in Oman, but I'm looking for ways to actually migrate to Australia. You understand? So that's the reason why I'm even looking towards this. So personally, I want to know if we start this course now, she said it's going to take like 6 months or something like that, but it can be fast tracked to 3 months. For us, I wanted to first of all know, for us who are not from the healthcare, sector, can we still do the fast track of 3 months, or we have to go through like 6 months? That's the first question. Second question is, after doing that for 6 months, we have to keep working in that hospital for like 1 year to gain some sort of experience, since they demand 1 year experience from what she just explained. That's my second question.
Okay, thank you very much, Bridget, for your question. So the first one, you can do the fast track regardless. So the fast track is basically to reduce your work turnaround time. That is how quickly your work is going to be marked. Okay. And after you have gotten your certificate, obviously you won't get a certificate if you don't meet the competency requirements. So you have to meet the competency requirements to get your certificate. And once you get your certificate and you've met the competency requirement, that will be enough to meet the AQF level 3 requirements for this pathway. If you want to get additional experience, which is not
can I just pop in there? Can I just interject? Not the AQF level 3, I would say, because it asks for an equivalency of a vocational qualification. So it's more like it will meet the vocational or competency requirements. I wouldn't want to compare it to the AQF certificate 3 because they are not
okay.
on the same framework and they cannot be benchmarked equally, but at least it meets the competency requirement, which I'm going to share with you. So to answer your question, Bridget, because you do not have any experience in care, so you've never worked in the care setting, you need a qualification that is robust, that can, be benchmarked, I would say, to the AQF certificate 3, or that can meet the qualification requirements because you do not have experience. So it's one thing, it's either you are using the experience, you're standing on the leg of experience, or you're standing on the leg of qualification. So it's either or. Now, if you look at their website, the Aged Care Industry Labor Agreements, there are two pathways, the Aquila pathway and the Dharma pathway. For the Aged Care Industry Labor Agreements, either you go for the aged or disabled carer, which is the ANSCO 423111. That's like their own SOC code. And this particular occupation is assessed by Community Work Australia. Or you can go for the nursing support worker, ANSCO 4, which is assessed by the Australian Nursing and Midwifery Accreditation Council, ANMAC, or the Personal Care Assistant, ANSCO 423313, assessed by the Australian Nursing and Midwifery Accreditation Council. So the first one allows you to work in the community, of which, like I said last week, there are lots of community work, domiciliary work, home care roles in the regional and rural Australia, and I would recommend this. But for the ANMAC, this is where you are looking for roles like in hospitals, working as a healthcare assistant, like in a hospice or in a care home, where you're working under the direct supervision of nurses. It's more competitive because you have people that are already in Australia, like on a student visa, that would want this role. So the competition for the nursing support worker and personal care assistant under the ANMAC accreditation or skills assessment is more competitive. So I highly recommend the Community Work Australia pathway. So Bridget, I hope that answers your question. You can take the qualification and you carry on doing your placement or your practicals whilst you are applying for the jobs and the skills assessments.
Okay, so that means you don't exactly need the 1 year experience if you do that other one you are saying. That's just what I want to know.
Yes, so if you have the qualification, you can stand on the leg of the qualification.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
thank you. So let's take one more question and then we'll go back and look at the ANMAC, and then we come back to look at the employment and the employers, and we will take questions and answers and call it a day for tonight. Okay, Chisom, can you call the next person?
Okay, rather than calling out someone else, there's a question that keeps popping up in the chat. A lot of people are confused by what you mean by they don't accept online certificates. So they want to know if this qualification will, what's the difference?
Okay, so this qualification, we've never said it's a full online certificate. So by online certification, I mean certificates where you take it wholly online. There is no practical, there is no work-based experience, there's no internship. So let me give an example, Allison or Training Express or Read, or Academy, where you just go online and you do a CPD MVQ in 2 days or in 2 weeks and you get a certificate. So they do not accept those kind of certificates. The certifications that they accept must be a vocational course. It must be not unduly short. and it must have a vocational component. So by vocational component, they mean that you've carried out some practical, I think a minimum of 120 hours of vocational work experience. So let me see if I can find the exact page where they talk about the qualification, just so that I can share that with everyone and we're all on the same page. They've changed their website quite a bit. Okay, I think that answers it. If I can find the exact web page where they list out the kind of qualification that they are looking for, I will share it with us. But in the meantime, let's take one more question and go back to the presentation.
Okay, Adugo, please go ahead with your question.
Okay, good evening.
Good evening.
All right, I'm a registered nurse, so I've been following you people for the past throughout the whole of this year. I don't know, so I'm a little bit confused. I want to know, and I've been practicing for the past 10 years or more. So I want to know if my qualification cannot, maybe following you guys with your assistance, cannot help me get a job in Australia. Like, I don't know. Must I go through the MVQ, level 3 diploma, when I'm already a registered nurse with my certificates, practicing for the past 12 years or more?
So I don't know if you were listening when I went through the eligibility and the requirement. That should have answered your questions, because we took time to go through the eligibility. So based off the eligibility we went through, were you here when we went through the eligibility? So I'll throw that question back to you.
Partially.
Are you eligible from going through the eligibility that we went through? Are you eligible?
Is it through the community?
Either through
Community.
Community Work Australia. We've not looked at ANMAC yet, so I wouldn't expect you
I
to
was also
answer.
confused on that part when you shared the screen. I was saying if I should go and check my eligibility status through this community pathway or I should
Because
go
you
through
already
nursing
have a
pathway.
nursing diploma, don't you? You've worked
Yes,
for
ma'am.
more than 1 year, so are you eligible or
Yes,
not?
I am.
So you're eligible. So based off their eligibility criteria, that's why I am sharing their own websites, so that it's not just like me saying things that cannot be substantiated. I want us to substantiate everything we've been saying, all the videos we've been posting over the week. I want us to begin to bring it to reality, to add flesh to it, so that you can
Mm,
see for yourself, and not just Laura telling you, but you can
mm,
see for yourself how you meet the eligibility, and you can
yes.
make an informed decision for yourself. Do I want to go with Community Work Australia? Do I want to go with ANMAC? Our role is to bring the information to you, to make sure that you
Mm,
understand it and you're able to interrogate it and use it to your own advantage, and also put you in front of the employers that can potentially hire you and sponsor you.
mm. So you're saying that right now I should just go and do my eligibility test, the skill assessment test. I should go and do it, then come back to you.
If you're a registered nurse and you need guidance through the process, we have a master class for registered nurses and people that are already qualified that meet the eligibility criteria I shared. You don't need to go through the NVQ if you already meet
Mm,
the eligibility criteria. What we do during the master class is just 2 weeks that is dedicated to giving you all the right information, the relevant information, making sure that your CV is well structured and meets the requirements that the hiring managers are looking for, ensuring that you have a cover letter that is well crafted to either the DAMA pathway or the Aquila pathway, whichever pathway that you want to take, ensuring that you have all the information at your fingertips,
mm,
and then positioning you, putting you in front of the employers. I'm going to show you some of the employers tonight, But during the careers session, the master class will give you like all the employers, over 300 employers that could potentially sponsor you and show you how to reach out to them, how to access them. So we'll literally give you the links to all these employers. However, we don't make the decision. We are not the hiring manager, but we can equip and prepare you for the job. So the job masterclass is 2 weeks and it costs £300. Yeah.
Okay.
I see someone is
Yeah.
asking how much is it. So it's £300, Sandra.
I also wanted to know. So I should go and do my eligibility test right now with the sites with
We already
the.
did the eligibility test at Dugo, and you said you passed based on the eligibility we did.
I did.
What
I
other
did it. I answered you
eligibility?
orally. I thought I should just go to the site
You
and.
can do that as well, but I think you passed from what we went through together.
Okay,
But if
ma.
you want to just, but you passed because it asks, how many years experience do you have? What
Yeah.
qualifications do you have? So you meet the requirement for qualification and experience. So all you just need to do is guidance on how to package the
Yes.
documents. You need the guidance on which employers to approach, how to make,
Yes, ma.
your application. So I think that's what you just need. And this is where the Job Master class will come in very handy to you. We have the class starting, I believe, on the 23rd of June. So
Okay.
next week, Tuesday, yes, the master class is starting next week, Tuesday.
Okay. So you post the. Do I need anything for me
Yeah,
to?
we can post the link.
Okay. I'll
Can
chat
one of
you.
my team member please post the link? Just check the chat box. You will see the link to the Job Master class.
Okay, ma. Oh,
Thank
I'm so
you.
grateful. Yeah,
All
ma.
right, you're
Thank you so
welcome.
much, ma.
Sure, yeah, we look forward to being able to support you.
Okay,
Okay.
ma.
All
God
right,
bless you.
guys. Yeah. Let's go back to our presentation so that we can come back and we'll round up for tonight. How many of us are ready? How many of us have our CV and everything just ready to ready to showcase? So just make sure that you are ready. I'm just going to give me 1 minute, please. Let me pull up my presentation. Okay, so we want to look at ANMAC now. I'm just going to lower hand if you don't mind, please. Chisom, can you help me lower hands?
All right, ma'am.
And then we can use the hand tool again once we resume our Q&A session. Okay, so let's look at the Australian Nursing and Midwifery Accreditation Council. One of the things I just want you to note, like I said previously, the CWA, Community Work Australia, is for community workers, domiciliary carers, living carers, one-to-one kind of support. But for those that will be working in a care home, in a hospice, or in a hospital, you need to go through the ANMAC. So ANMAC is for those that will be working under the supervision of a registered nurse taking care of the elderly. So ANMAC will be the preferred pathway for you. What's happened? Okay, so ANMAC will assess applications for nursing support workers and score 423312 and personal care assistants and score 423313 occupations only. The fee is 545 Australian dollars and time to submit an online application is about 25 minutes. So like I said, it's very easy to submit an application. It's not difficult. So I don't know what you are really waiting for. Current waiting time is 6 to 8 weeks, but if all your documents are complete and correct, you can get an assessment in as little as 4 weeks if you have all your documents correct. Okay, so let us look at the eligibility for the ANMAC. To apply for a direct care skills assessment, you must have, please, this is very important. I want you to take note here. A certificate, 3 minimum qualification. So if you have a certificate 4, a certificate 5, a diploma certificate, it meets the criteria, okay? So the minimum qualification is a certificate 3 in a relevant field, including nursing-related study or study in personal or aged care. Minimum duration 6 months. Face-to-face, it must include a physical element. That's why, like I said earlier, online only is not accepted. So the qualification that we offer at Grammartorial is not online only. The theory part is done online, but it has a physical component. So it's a hybrid. It has a face-to-face component as well. You must also be able to provide evidence of at least 120 hours of practical experience within the training you completed. So the training for the non-RQF has practical experience of 250 hours. So it meets these requirements. And you can show 12 months in a relevant area, or you are able to evidence 12 months in a relevant area. So and completed in Australia or overseas within the last 5 years, and includes nursing or direct aged care work. So it has to be nursing or direct aged care. Now, relevant means a course or work where direct care roles and responsibilities are the focus. This does not include midwifery, disability, or childcare. So please note, like I said earlier during my presentation, that this is where a lot of people miss it and get it wrong. So please, if you are here and you're a Grammartorial student and you are thinking of doing the application, please run your application past us. Just let us look through it and be able to give you guidance before you submit. If you're a disability support worker or provide general household assistance, then you need to apply for skills assessment with Community Work Australia, which is the one that we just looked at earlier. What you need. So it talks about all the things that you need: your passport photograph, your qualification with your 120 hours practical placement, your reference written by a supervisor, your agent, if you're using an agent, and payment for your assessment. So the next step is to start to prepare your documents. Here they have how to prepare your documents, step-by-step guidance, your transcript, your proof of all your documents here. So it's really very detailed. You register and pay, you upload your documents and wait to hear from us. So these are the steps that you need to take. I'm going to copy and paste it in the chat box as well. It's a straightforward process, but like I said earlier, to all our students that wish to apply, please let us know so that we can guide you. It's 545 Australian dollars, and you don't want to make a mistake or apply wrongly. You want to make sure that you apply correctly. Okay, so this is the moment that we've all been waiting for. We've seen what it takes to qualify for a skills assessment or a positive skills assessment with Community Work Australia, the type of work you will be doing, which is in community care, and also the requirements and document checklist for the Australian Nursing and Midwifery Council, which is working as a nursing support worker or a personal care assistant. So now I'm going to go back to my slides, and we want to look at the employers. Like I said last week, the employers may just be lurking around and waiting to see what we are doing and, you know, how thorough our work is, how well prepared our students and our audience are. So I would call on maybe 2 people this time that are ready. And by ready, I mean you are visa ready, to just share their screen with us. So if you know you are visa ready, please just start to get ready. Don't use the hand tool now. I'm just going to share 2 people. Those that send their CV, if you sent your CV last week Saturday, I'm sure you will get a response back by this week if you meet the criteria. But from what I saw, a lot of people did not meet the criteria, those that sent their CV. Okay, Michael, you said you are ready. Did you send your CV last week? Did you send your CV last week? I don't think I saw. Okay, guys, let me hang on 1 minute and let's look at the employers and we come back to take questions and answers. Yes, Michael, just drop your hand first, and once we finish the presentation, then we'll come back to you. We'll get back to you. Okay, guys, please give me 1 minute to pull up my PowerPoint slide. Okay, can everyone see my screen? Okay, so let's look at examples of Australia organizations with international recruitment pathways. Are you ready for this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So please don't use the hand tool yet to lift your hands or to raise your hand. Once we finish the presentation, then you are more than welcome to use the hand tool. So examples of Australian organizations, care organizations, or employers that typically have international recruitment pathways will be McLean Care. We're going to look at them. They are big, massive recruiter in Australia. They also have the regional aged care pathway. So they are part of the DAMA for Orana. They are also part of the DAMA for Queensland and Dubbo and many other areas that also use the DAMA. They have publicly welcomed international applicants. They usually do the nurse assistant. So they are, if you want to target McLean Care, then it will be for the nurse assistant. They also have some home care, but they are very big on, their care homes. They have care homes scattered across, Australia. So you want to check for their current vacancies and eligibility requirements. We also have Calvary Healthcare, and they have a big international recruitment program that is well packed, very well packed, and they also offer a lot of relocation benefits. So they do state that sponsorship may be available for eligible, successful applicants. So we're going to check their current vacancies and eligibility requirements, which will, be very similar to the eligibility requirement that I shared with you earlier on the CWA and the ANMAC website. So you can use that as a guide, because ultimately these employers are going to pass through. They will pass through the relevant, authorities. They will pass through Immigration Australia. So it is important that you meet the requirement of CWA and Immigration Australia. And once you have met those requirements, you have ultimately met the employer or the employment requirements. So it's important that I shared that with you first before coming to the employers. So employers want to be satisfied that you meet all compliance requirements, you meet all regulatory requirements, and the compliance and regulatory requirements are the overarching requirements. So the employer requirements cannot replace those. So those are the main requirements that you want to be aiming for. So as long as you have your AQF Certificate 3 or NVQ equivalent, or your nursing diploma, you have your work experience, you have your positive skills assessment, you already meet the employer requirements. So these are two main employers that have international recruitment pathways, and we are going to be exploring them. Employment opportunities, I just want to state this. Employment opportunities with visa sponsorship in countries like Australia and New Zealand are available. They are there. There are lots of them. They would often recruit from the Philippines. I know of a lot of large care providers that go en masse to the Philippines to recruit. We are beginning to see some of them coming out to the UK because they are aware of the displaced worker situation in the UK, and they are now coming to the UK to headhunt in the UK. So the sponsorship are available and the eligibility requirements will change from time to time. So the more reason why I drop those links with you. So please always refer to those links, bookmark them, refer to the employer's current recruitment information. And I want you to know that nobody can guarantee you, nobody. I know some people will be saying, what's your guarantee? Is it 100%, 90%, 80%? Nobody can guarantee you a job offer, sponsorship, or migration outcome. It can only be guaranteed by the Home Office and the employer themselves. What we can do is we can prepare you, we can equip you, and we can make sure that you have all the relevant information at your disposal to be successful. So we are going to take some questions and answers now, because I know the time is fast spent and we would want to get ready for work tomorrow. So let's take some questions and answers. Chisom, if you can help me coordinate and moderate the Q&A session, please.
All right, Sma. John M, please go ahead with your question.
Sorry, before we take questions, John, before you take your question, who are the people that said they have their CV ready for these employers? Who are the people that have their CVs ready?
I think it was just Michael.
Okay, only Michael is ready.
Yeah, he was the one that was speaking up before.
Okay.
Michael, are you there? Michael Maduka.
Yes, I am.
Okay, Michael, do you want to share, please? Can you make sure that you do not disclose any personal information like phone number or email?
Yes. So how do I share?
Okay, I'll just give you a co-host.
Thank you.
If you are not able to blot out any personal information, then you can share it with us privately.
I think I've done that already.
Okay.
Personal details were prior before this call.
Chisom, did you receive this email?
No, I said I've removed my personal details already on my
Okay,
CV.
all right. Okay, so let's look at one of the main employers whilst we are waiting for Michael. Let's look at the main employers. Some people like to work based on hearsay, but before I bring any information here, you can be rest assured that it has been carefully reviewed. So I don't work by hearsay. I don't work by hearsay. I work by, verified information. So this is one of the main employers, recruiters of care labor in Australia. And you can see this is their website. So I said, always verify from the source, International Job Seekers. Okay, so I wasn't the one that wrote this. I was not the one that, created this. I didn't make this up myself. So are you thinking of relocating to Australia? McLean Care is dedicated to supporting international job seekers. We welcome We welcome to our company and to our communities people who share our passion for supporting elderly people. So one thing I can tell you about McLean Care is that they will not even interview anybody that is not visa ready. So they wouldn't. If you don't have your skills assessment or your positive skills assessment, they are not going to, even interview you at all. So they will pay, their pay is quite good, for aged care, for nursing, for aged care roles, and they also assist with AHPRA registration for nurses. They assist you to get your driver's license, and they will give you visas. They will consider sponsorship. Again, like I said, it's on a case-by-case basis. Nobody is going to guarantee you, I will give you sponsorship. It's on a case-by-case basis, okay? So they are going to consider based on location, which location do they need? Some location, McLean Care is just like NHS. Some location, NHS can fill the labor market with existing local, applicants. So if they can fill with local applicants, they are not going to recruit someone from overseas. So one thing is for you to know which location should I apply to, because they are quite massive. It says they have 6 facilities spread across New South Wales, Queensland, and services delivered throughout the community across both states. So it's massive. It's massive. Apart from these 6 facilities, I would not advise you to apply to any of the 6 facilities. Don't even bother. You won't get it from abroad in any of the 6 facilities. However, like I said earlier, if you are applying, target the community work. That is where you stand a higher chance across both states. So community work across New South Wales, and in particular, Durban and Queensland. When considering where you might relocate, take a look at our location video to find out more. So again, I will reserve the exact location, the exact location. I will reserve it for our students and those that will join our master class, because it's not everything I will come out and say in the open in a meeting like this. I know that there are a lot of people that are just here to get information and to go and sensationalize the information. So I will stop sharing for now. Let those employers that are in our midst be able to spot the people that they want.